Okay, for you guys, this is my first video. Oh, it's my first video after the one with the pineapple top. But no, this is my like fifth or sixth one that I've done today, and I can't show you the other ones because they will all eat up my data of me explaining to you all of the things I needed to talk about from the beginning of time when there was nothing, that nothing existed, all the way up to me being the beyond above deep black director of the Illuminati, the overt director, which that won't make any sense to you because I can't explain it to you. I tried to do that in the other ones, but I can't upload those because they'll eat up all of my gigabytes and I won't have any. And so I have to now talk to you about what I was needed to get to as soon as possible, but it would take like 7, 8, 10 videos to get to the part where I'm talking about bus life, van life, and all of that. But I needed to explain all of that to you, and I can't because the forces that control everything made it such that you have to pay for the internet data, all this stuff, and you can't just talk about stuff and upload it. You're not like an orator, and I'm eating up time just saying this. I want to just make this one 20-minute video, but maybe this is going to be two, and I'll just do these two. It's going to eat up 8 of my gigs that I can't have getting eaten up this month right now, because I already ate up 4 or whatever, 5 with the other 2 videos. Look at that. But let me just try to be concise and get through this stuff. This is my frustration because I've been up since early this morning. It's already whatever time it is. It's probably the afternoon by now or something, or it's getting close to the afternoon. And you guys know nothing about me if you haven't watched any of my videos, other channels, whatever. But I was sitting here in 6 videos explaining stuff to my best while vehicles were passing by that shouldn't be passing by, and with not the frequency that they do, interrupting me, taking 20 seconds every time they pass by. Swearing those videos, at least 20 vehicles or possibly more eat up all that time, 20 seconds apiece, do 6 videos. Okay, let me try to explain this stuff. This is crazy. Okay, we, the Illuminati, are not bad. We have been around since nothing existed. But then when, if you want to call it the all spark, like in Transformers, the Big Bang, beginning of the universe, whatever you want to call it, the spark that created all things happened, the byproduct of the sparks, like a welder, the sparks that fly off from it, they cool down and they become planets, stars. They would become little pieces of metal, but in this term, planets and stars. We all live inside of God. The Earth is an electron. The sun is a nucleus, composes an atom. Atoms compose living things, and so on and so forth. And so we live inside of God. That's why everybody has a misconception about who and what God is. Vehicles, I swear to God. Okay, and so those misconceptions are why the world is all messed up. So now this is 4 minutes right here, and I haven't even said anything yet. And I got to talk about bus life and stuff. Okay, so we Illuminati have always been the caretakers of existence. We are existence. We're the nothingness that came into being. We created everything else, including God, because God is the entity that we all live inside of, which is composed of the atoms which make up this solar system and this galaxy, the universe, the omniverses. That's all God. And at the beginning of the time, there was nothingness. That was the IL, not light, loom, even though loom can also mean water in Sumerian. But that's another story that I already talked about, but you won't see that until I can afford to put those videos up. But right now, I'm going to stay focused to the best of my ability on explaining to you. I'll make the topic of this one, and I'll try to call it something like this. You're all doing bus life wrong. Now see, here's one of those vehicles I'm talking about coming by, interrupting me, so that I can't remember what I was trying to say before the freaking vehicle passes by. Okay, so now where was I? I'm trying to remember. Try to remember when these things pass by. So now, part of this is you're all doing. Maybe I just should just jump. Okay, we as the Illuminati, and by the way, all those people you think are in the Illuminati, none of them are. Not a single one. But they all are. Because everything is illumination. So everyone and everything, plant, animal, water, the sand, photons, electrons, ions, whatever, all of it is illumination. All of it. So everything is Illuminati. Illuminati is not an organization of people that started in the 1500s like the thing says. It said it on the shorts when I made the short for the pineapple thing in the video on the channel, where it says, oh, Illuminati says this, these people's 1500s Bavarian Illuminati started out, Adam Weishaupt, and no, he founded his own version of it, which was called the Bavarian Illuminati, but it wasn't even based on what the Illuminati is. It was based on what his understanding of the information that he had at the time was about secret organizations, and an organization calling itself something of Illuminati, because that's not what it was back then, because Illuminati is a mixture of Latin, Sumerian, and so on. And back then when Adam Weishaupt made it, the world wasn't such that he had the availability of all these different informations to call it that word with the accuracy that I can explain it. Vehicle passing by to interrupt me again, and hold on for a second. It's all done on purpose. So what happens is, since we created everything, we created God, which we want to call God, which just I talked about all of this before. Really short version is Godr. It's an Old Norse. It means good force, and it got translated into English as God, and then translated further to describe people as Good, which is good. And so people say God as in aliens. Aliens, yeah, good spiritual beings. Some of them are, some of them aren't. So they were the gods. Then there's other people who call themselves gods, just gets in the nation of gods and earths. That's a whole different thing, but it's not. So it gets into a discussion about how everything in the universe at the beginning, when we talk about physical beings and constructs, was black. Maybe they don't talk about black aliens, but black beings that melanin, because you need melanin to process the sunlight in order to stay alive, to get vitamin, to make vitamin D3, to use the calcium in your body for your bones, so you can have healthy bones and live. And so without all of that, when you lack melanin, and you are a lighter complexion or white skinned, because you don't have any melanin, you tend to have diseases that black people don't have, because you're not getting the processing of the sunlight in this particular universe, or rather solar system, to live on this world, so that you can have healthy bones. And that's why people have bone diseases. So there is no, and I in other videos I went into, before this one, I went into talking about how racism is all screwed up, and I didn't use the word racism. I try to avoid these things so no one sits there and tries to get my videos taken down and stuff like that, because it's important. Now I tell you all these things. We're trying to save the world, but to understand the importance of not only black people, who we are, what we are, and we can start getting into, but I'm not going to do that right now, how there's this whole agenda to get rid of black people from the world and to negate our importance, such that black education in whatever forms, African, whatever studies, whatever, don't get taught in schools, and that the exact opposite is taught. Things like, oh, it's good that we were slaves, which is the most horrible thing. It's like saying it's good that some woman got raped, or some child got molested, or some group of people got killed off. because the one or two that survived the killing off, or the woman, the woman who was raped, or the child that was molested, they learned and became things, based on the fact that that happened to them, that they would not have learned to become if it did not happen. Like, who says that? Like, why? What? I'm not going to go there right now. I'm trying to stay focused on the bus van life, but that's part of everything I'm trying to talk about. I tried to go in some of the stuff with the other videos, which you won't see for probably months or a year or two, which you needed to know and see before I talked about this stuff with the van life, bus life. Now, see, I only got these X amount of minutes. It's going to end up being 2 videos just to talk about this, eating up more gigs on my phone, which I can't afford, but this is going to be 8 gigs that I'm going to have to upload if this is 2 20-minute videos. 8 gigs? Something like 8 gigs or 6 gigs, 6.5, whatever it's going to be. At any rate, the Illuminati is not an organization of people that has only been around for hundreds of years. It is the nothingness that became everything you see and experience, even though none of this actually really even exists. That's getting into scientific studies you can look into on your own time, about how, atoms are 99.9% space or whatever, is empty in between and all this stuff like that. But because nothingness came into existence and wants to proliferate and wants to propagate, it has to have a force and energy that keeps that cycle going, a kinetic force. So that's what we are. The Illuminati is the kinetic force that exists in time and space, and so on and so forth, and in a construct, the fabric of what you want to call reality, which keeps moving forward, the desire of the nothingness to actually be in motion and exist, because that's how we comprehend things, right? Things that are in motion exist, things that just sit there or not. If a room has light in it, it exists. If a room is just completely darkness and you're born in that room, all you know is your voice, and if you're not talking, there's nothing. It's like nothing. But there is something there. It's that room of emptiness. It didn't change with the light there, except that light allows your eyes, because your eyes are made to use light to see things that may exist. So if it's a room, it has walls. If it doesn't have any walls and you're just outside in the middle of nowhere floating around in space, then you're still not going to really see anything. If the light comes along, maybe you just see that differently. Instead of as darkness, you'll see it as light or whatever. Eating up time to explain that to you. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, so I'm trying to get to the core of what this video is, and now I only got 6 minutes, and I'm gonna kind of have to, this is gonna be part 1 to explain it into, oh man, you don't know how hard this is doing this recording and stuff. Some of you do. For me, it's way harder. Okay, so we protect all that is good so that everything can keep moving forward. We are not what you heard we are. I'm the only one who is authorized by the nothingness, which became somethingness, and that somethingness is what you call God. That's a whole, big thing going on there. Authorized to talk about any of this, and I was never supposed to have to, because all things are illumination, and it was supposed to have just been going on. The divergence of things from good to good and bad over this time has made it such that I had to break my cover in 2017 to now take flack from not only the malevolent forces, because I was born into the Illuminati, not joined it. My family lineage has been there since the beginning, because all of our family lineage has been there since the beginning, except for people we've pulled in and entities we've pulled in, or we say back into it, over illions and illions of millennia. But so I was never supposed to have broke my cover to, not only get flack from all of y'all and end up in an impoverished situation, but to also have already been enduring the malevolence that is perpetrated against us and me specifically, because I'm an overt director, even though I was undercover, just for the purposes of keeping me down, so that I could never, maybe it was all of their purposes was just to keep me from this point right here, where because that divergence from oneness became good and bad, and then the bad knew that at some point they were going to be held accountable for what they've done by the good or by other forces. So they needed to keep doing even worse stuff to keep the good forces from being able to get into a position to do things like explain this to you all. So now, look at this. Only got 5 minutes. And time is a whole nother thing. We didn't do that. We didn't create time. Time just come in. Time was created by bad entities. Because remember, life and death are synonymous with the beginning of a time and an ending of a time. And if the time didn't exist, that means life and death would not exist. It would just be a oneness. So all the hurt and pain you go through when you lose someone, or all the joy you experience when someone comes into being that you created, that wouldn't have happened. Doesn't that remind you of like what they say about gray aliens, which is a whole nother topic? But we won't talk about that right now. So with this 2 minutes, I'll just set this video up. And maybe it was all supposed to go this way anyway. Again, turning the bad stuff that goes on and the malevolence that has been perpetrated, twisting it. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to learn how to twist all of that bad and make it into a force. Reminding myself of Avatar right now, like the bald-headed kid. I guess that's what this is. It's real. It's real. Yo, it's real. Struggle's real. Turning all of that and morphing it into an energy that I could just either throw back at the bad, the malevolence, or turn it into something that I can give forward to you, so that you can be like, oh, okay. So now 2 minutes. I'm gonna set this up for this next video. So here's what happens. We Illuminati, we're good. I'm Illuminati. The others, I won't say everyone is bad. I'll just say they're doing things that aren't what we do. And the world is the way it is because of the things that they do. So if you don't like the way the world is and the way things are going, it is because of them. It is not because of the Illuminati. You see me? See? No shirt and all of this and the teeth. Look real good. Huh? See? All of that is a result of what they do to us and have been doing to us since the beginning of time. So they walk around, with jewelry and cars and this and that. And yeah, I'm Illuminati because I'm rich and I know these things you don't know, and we're all secretive, and they're not the Illuminati. They are just their own secret organizations doing things that result in what's going on in the world, because I darn sure don't control the world and you don't. So someone's doing what you see going on out here and making this cycle of insanity and hot messness. Hot messness. I'm trademark. Hot messness. There's another, whatever that, yeah. Hot messness going on. They're doing that. It ain't me and it ain't you. I hope it ain't you. So this is to set up that we are good. They're not us. And that I'm going to explain to you in this next video, because I only got like 50 seconds to explain this. Keep it under 20 minutes. In this next video, I'm going to explain to you, for all of you doing, you got rid of your homes and you're living in your vehicles and you're trying to explore yourself in life and stuff. That's beautiful, because, let me just say this part, it's because you want to be aliens. Now I'm looking at the camera, right? You want to be aliens, but you don't realize that's what you want to be, because most of you don't believe in aliens. But you're trying to go home. I want to cry right now. I'm an emotional dude. I'm going to hold back the tears, especially at the end of the video. I can't even explain my tears. You want to go home, but you don't know that you want to go home, and you don't even know what home is. I'm going to explain all of this to you, or at least some of it to you, what I can, because I'm going to have to upload this, and it's going to have to fit into the next video. So, that said, I'm going to stop this one right here. And Watch the next one right now if you can, please.